Welcome back from the still hiatus podcast, GameSession podcast. It's me, Jose, slash the Seth Rokage. With me today, I have GameSession podcast alumni, King Corey Bear, also known as Corey. How you doing, buddy?
Hi. I'm doing fantastic. It's been a hot freaking minute since we've been in front of the mics together. I want to say during the pandemic, right?
Yeah, seems like everyone and their grandma thought it'd be a good idea to make a podcast during the pandemic. Because, like, fuck, what else are you supposed to do?
Listen, just because somebody can afford a microphone does not mean they need to buy a microphone.
Probably me included as well. In that, yeah. No, it was a fun time. Glad I took a break. And this is not a promise to do more. This is just more so a one-off because the two of us are big giant nerds for Resident Evil, and a new one came out. So
exactly.
So we both just kind of really want to blab about it.
It's honestly, yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to, is that a new Resident Evil game came out and both me and Jose played it, and we just are huge Resident Evil nerds, and we just really, really need to have a space to talk about it is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm not really on any social media at all nowadays. Like, I still have the YouTube channel up and everything, but I'm just like, fuck, man, I do not have an outlet to talk about everything I want to talk about.
It's a lot. I don't blame you, man. It's a lot to keep up with. I even struggle to be consistent with really any sort of social media right now. I just kind of vibe post at this point with some kind of spurts of creativity or spurts of consistency here and there.
Well, you'd mentioned before that you've been doing some TikTok stuff recently, right?
Yeah, I basically just post whatever I'm interested in. If you go on any of my professional social media pages, whether it be Instagram or TikTok, it's essentially in the bio, it says roll a d6, and you get all of these different results of things that I'm into, whether it be movies, video games, tarot, you name it. But I posted a funny video just today, and it's essentially a 61-second video or 62-second video where I am briefly and somewhat accurately describing every mainline Resident Evil game. And I find it very hilarious because it made me chuckle, which is why I made the video in the first place, because I think it would make other people chuckle. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm going to have to... I didn't even know that you'd posted it, so I'm going to have to check it out, and I'll make sure to put in the description. But I know we'll have plenty of time for advertising towards the end, but if people want to find you quickly on TikTok, what would they search up?
Just King Corey Bear on Instagram. I'm the Corey Parsley with 2 E's in the. Otherwise, yeah, I'm also on YouTube as King Corey Bear or KCB. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. All right, with that stuff out of the way, let's jump into... I think let's start with general thoughts on the game, opening elevator pitch statement on just overall thoughts.
Should we do a title card Resident Evil Requiem?
Okay, I gotta say, this game gave me huge Alan Wake vibes purely just for the huge smash fucking text, bold and screen. I'm just this is awesome. I want everything to do this moving forward.
Did you get the special edition or did you get the normal edition?
Normal edition.
Okay, because I got the special edition, and I need to tell you something that I don't think you realize, but the special edition comes with a special sound pack where you can swap out the new sounds with the original Raccoon City music and stuff. And when you switch it over in the settings to the original soundtrack and the original sounds, it does the little bloop 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 menu sounds from the originals. Also, when you go back to the main menu, it does that boom, Resident Evil. I'm just oh my god, it's so fun.
is that still something that you can upgrade to the digital? I mean, I got it on PlayStation. I'm not sure if they do the same upgrade thing.
No, yeah. You should be able to just upgrade it, no problem. I don't think that was a pre-order bonus or anything. Mm-hmm. yeah, I think that's just extra stuff you can easily download and buy.
Yeah, because I know they did something similar with the Resident Evil 2 remake, where you could, maybe it was in the deluxe also, but you could also purchase like the original soundtrack to play in game. Mm-hmm. And part of me really prefers that original soundtrack because like the direction they took with the remake was, let's focus on a lack of music, except for like maybe like some boss battles. It was just more ambiance and like being in the moment. But that original soundtrack is just so good in a cheesy but also creepy way at the same time.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that as well a little bit because I have some things to say about the soundtrack for Requiem. What was I going to say is that, okay, so my initial thoughts going into it, I had seen a lot of like the trailers and the gameplay stuff. I tried not to watch too much leading up to it because I wanted to still be surprised. However, I did get ruined for me, like Leon blasting the girl in the face in the first part. So I thought that was just like the end of that boss. Silly me.
Did you see that like someone posted a video online or was that in a trailer? Because I went total blackout on all trailers.
No, that was part of like the IGN like spotlight trailers, where they straight up show Leon come in and save Grace for the first time and use his Requiem to blast a hole in the girl's face. Mm-hmm. I thought that was like, well, okay, they just showed the death of one of the bosses. That's kind of a spoiler. You know, little did I know that wasn't the end of that boss.
I know it'll probably come up, but so I didn't know about that moment, but when it happened, I'm just like, wow, they really killed off this giant pursuer enemy like really early. I'm like, that's kind of cool that they would do that, but I'm also kind of bummed out. So when she pops back up later, I'm like, oh fuck, okay, cool, she's back.
I'm really disappointed in both of us for not foreseeing that was going to happen.
I don't know. It was a big gun.
Yeah, I that's what I'm saying. Like they really sold it. Like this is a big freaking hand cannon. Like, okay, yeah, she's definitely dead. I wasn't realizing that, you know, regeneration was a huge part of this whole theme for this game, which is funny when you think about it in retrospect. Is like Requiem, regeneration, going back, reverting, rejuvenating, like all these different things. Like
I think you're right to be disappointed in us for assuming that, yep, that monster is dead. Like, this is the series where if that monster does not dissolve into goo or gets hit with a rocket launcher in a volcano, then it's probably still alive. And even then, people still think Wesker's alive. So
right. Which,
assume nothing is dead.
In some ways, you could say this game brought Wesker back, but we'll get into that.
Through the power of Temu.
Yes, through the power of Temu. Okay, so yeah, so I was really thrilled about the Grace portions of like just the ever growing dread and horror. The fact that they really leaned into the psychological terror and trauma that is losing your parent in front of your eyes. Like the actress that played Grace, she just was so phenomenally real. The fear in her voice felt just gut-wrenching. You know, the tragedy, just the tragicness in her voice felt gut-wrenching.
Yeah, I think if this was just another, well, I don't want to say just another Leon game, because I would have loved just another Leon game. But I think that Grace really sold this entire game, and like the performance along with them, just like, oh man, this isn't just like Resident Evil 7 Ethan Winters, where it's just like kind of like a blank slate character. Like, no, she's like fully realized, and like the way that she stutters, the way that she's very afraid of the situation. And I think the moment where I was just completely on board with, yes, this is one of my favorite Resident Evil characters, is when I think it was the parking garage where you're getting the one of the fake organ things, and then the construction truck like bursts through, and she looks, she's like, and just the way she says, "What the fuck?" I'm just like, yeah, girl, me too.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing, is that like I had to realize, because at first my fiance was like watching me, and he was saying, okay, God, like, why is she breathing so much? Why is she just like shaking all the time? I'm like, dude, you have to remember, she's basically an FBI desk jockey. Like, she is not much of a field agent, and she's still very young. She's going to these places that are tied to her mother's death, which she witnessed right in front of her, and she's basically been kidnapped. Like, it is her origin story, like Leon encountered in Raccoon City. Like, this is her rookie moment, you know? However, I do have, if I may, I have a devil's advocate comparison. Can you explain to me why, if this is Grace's, like, rookie moment with dealing with all these horrifying things, and she's as realistically scared as she can be, why then did Claire, being like a young college student in Raccoon City, not respond in a similar way?
I feel like the in-universe answer for that would be that her brother Chris had like always trained her around guns and to basically be a badass. So maybe she just grew up with that kind of mindset mentality. Like I thought it was like super realistic with what you were going on about with Grace being in that situation. Like, yes, she is right to be terrified of this giant monster going to eat her head off. She is right to be to be breathing hard, to be panting, and all that. I know I've seen a lot of people saying, wow, this is really stupid of the FBI boss to send someone somewhere where their parent died. Isn't that like a huge conflict of interest? And I have two answers for that. Mm-hmm. One is, it makes complete sense if Kash Patel is the leader of the FBI. He wouldn't care about that. Two, like what I assume is probably the more obvious answer is that the connections use their power to maybe not directly tell the boss, hey, you need to send this chick specifically, but maybe like his higher up boss, something like that, somewhere up the chain.
For sure. There is clear themes of government corruption going on in the entirety of this story. It's clear that it's not just any one entity, but the connections are pulling the strings like the master puppeteers that they are. They've been in the background since apparently the very beginning, and essentially they are trying to collect all of the resources of every single bio company or pharmaceutical company, essentially gut them, just like they did with Umbrella. They're trying to gut them for all of their research and all of their technology as possible, so they can be the only ones in charge of all of this technology and resources.
Right. And yeah, just Grace as a character, yeah, totally made the entire game for me. I mean, we're obviously going to get into Leon and especially the marketing, just thirst trapping Leon even on Capcom's main social accounts. But
well, I think also what could be said is that Grace and Leon, the comparison and contrast between Grace and Leon's campaigns are not just sort of their play styles. That's very surface level, but this is sort of like a case study on how people respond to trauma and how people respond to horrifying situations. Because Leon, even though he was a rookie, he responded very instinctually and quickly and to the best of his abilities. He tried very hard to keep a level head.
Yeah, he was naive but very capable.
Correct. Whereas Grace is very much somebody who feels her emotions extremely deeply, and she's like, you know how there's like flight, fight, and freeze? She's very much the freeze type. So whereas Leon is the fight type. And we really see that coming to light in all of it. Like, he may have quippy or sarcastic remarks, but that's part of his trauma response. It's how he lightens the moment so that way he can keep his adrenaline pumping.
Yeah, and I really like how much they go into his trauma over the events in 2, even the events in 4, where he has this fixation on, man, I really didn't save anyone in 2. Like, yeah, I got through this horrific shit. And then 4, being able to at least save Ashley, but he's got a lot of survivor's guilt that he kind of like pushes down. He kind of pushes it off, but you can tell, like, yeah, it is absolutely wrecking havoc on this man. And like, even by the end of the game, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna die, but at least I can save someone.
Yeah, he's survived by the skin of his teeth multiple times already, and I think that he definitely was like, well, my luck has finally run out. The clock is ticking for me. I'm infected. It's truly just a matter of time. So he really was just like stubborn in the way of like, I need to at least finish my mission. I have to do what I came here to do. And, you know, you can't knock a guy for trying.
At any point in the, because I believe for some of the marketing they had shown, like, yeah, he has the T-virus black stuff creeping up on his neck. At any point, did you believe Leon would actually die?
Yes. Yes, 100%.
If it wasn't Resident Evil, I would have said yes. That's what the narrative is pushing towards. But with the series being Resident Evil, I'm just like, no, they wouldn't kill off this main character. That's not what this series is known for outside of Ethan Winters. But even then, you never even got to see his face, like, at all.
And I think that's probably one of the reasons they never really showed his face, because they wanted to be able to kill him off.
Yeah.
That and that's a whole other argument. But I think that if Capcom really wanted to push their series, this is just my own opinion, take it with a grain of salt, but if they wanted to push their series like even more, like further, I think killing off Leon probably would have been like the most daring choice, because essentially they're falling in line with something like The Last of Us, because, you know, it deals with a virus as well, and zombies and stuff like that, and you know, mutations. But, you know, I think in Resident Evil, like you said, in Resident Evil, we kind of are living in a fantasy world where everybody gets to live, which is like, except for the bad guys. And which is, I also want to bring us back to Emily.
Oh, yes.
So this little girl, this blind little girl who Grace decided to save in order to save herself. Though her intentions started out selfish, they ended up being selfless. And coincidentally, Leon did not shoot any vital organs, even though I'm pretty sure I lit that mutated little girl up.
I did not hesitate to shoot. Just like, I know this is like your first type of scenario, but I've seen many a mutation in this series, and that person is gone. Yeah. Honestly, I was giving the game a lot of credit. Just like, man, they really just straight up killed this little fucking girl. Like, that kind of hit pretty hard. I was somewhat disappointed that she lived at the end. I was just like, okay, that feels like a little bit of a cop-out. I'm not upset about it. Mm-hmm. Maybe just slightly disappointing, because I thought that moment hit really hard in the moment of it.
It really did, because it was sort of like a negative mirror of what Claire was able to do in Raccoon City, which is save Sherry. Grace tried to do but failed. And like that I feel like her having to live with that result would have been probably the best thing that Capcom could have done with this story. and it's enough to have saved Leon. Like if you with Elpis and everything, the fact that you save Leon and that he's cured and that Sherry's cured and that now you have this ultimate like antiviral to combat against this shit, like that's enough of a benefit to having gone through the trauma that she went through with Emily. However, to go back and just be like, oh, we can reverse the mutation and she's fine, like,
takes a little bit of the punch out of it.
Yeah, I'm like, so there's no failure, there's no repercussions, there's no like, if you can just reverse all of your trauma, then like, what's the point? Like, it takes a bit of the humanity out of it, you know?
Yeah, and even kind of like practicality in the moment, because that's when she decides that she's going to like willingly go with Gideon and Zeno. Sorry, I had to burp.
That was an appropriate spot to burp.
Yeah. So she's going with Gideon and Zeno. Like, she is just so emotionally broken. She does not care about her own safety. Like, everything's just off the table for her. She's just not there mentally. I don't know. Just that whole segment was great. Having to, what did you think about having to run from the girl in like all those segments? Like the basement for sure was super terrifying to me. Having to choose to be like really careful about where you put the did they call them fuses? The big old like little circle dome things you have to plug in.
Oh gosh. Which section are you talking about?
It's where after Emily gets stolen and then you go in the basement.
Yes, the underground, like the prison, the underground prison area. That was terrifying. That part was, I honestly actually really liked that part. I thought it was really well constructed. I thought that the puzzles were definitely more thoughtful as far as like the whole game goes with the puzzles. This was definitely an area that was more thoughtful with the puzzles and having to maneuver silently and have to be selective on like what rooms you're opening and everything like that. I found myself actually looking at the map and pausing and be like, okay, maybe I have to take this fuse to this place and then open up this area so I can get this extra item or something like that. Like I found myself planning ahead of my movements.
Yeah, I know whenever Des, my girlfriend, is watching me play, she's like, why are you opening the map every fucking 5 steps? I'm just like, because I need to know where I'm going. I have to, because I know the second I take this light out, the thing's going to be right behind me. And this whole section, I mean, the whole game is like designed immaculately, like level design. But this was definitely the moment where it absolutely clicked, where I'm just like, fuck, I have to take this thing out. It's going to turn the lights off. There's a big old pipe above me. I know as soon as I get close to that, this thing's probably going to pop out. And sure enough, it does. And it wasn't even to like dismay, like, oh, it was predictable. It's just like, no, the tension it builds for that is great. I love that. And just the girl is so freaking terrifying. Did you play in first or third person?
I did the recommended perspectives. I'm gonna go through insanity mode and switch the perspectives that time. So Leon will be in first person and then Grace will be in third person.
Oh, Leon in first.
Yeah, I want to experience Leon in first person. 'Cause like sometimes if you put a scope on your gun for Leon, it switches to first person aiming anyway. So you kind of get an idea of what it's like to play as Leon in first person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I turned, because that's like a separate toggle thing. For my second playthrough, I turned that off. I was just like, no, I want to stay third person Leon. But even for third person Grace, I was just like, this is probably like the easier way to play just because you have better situational awareness. But man, running from the girlfriend's first person, you just hear her like thumping behind you. Because I was playing with surround sound headphones.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, I don't know exactly how far behind me this thing is, but I do not want to find out.
You just keep running. You don't look back. And me and my fiance had the same issue where because we were playing late at night, we had to put our headphones on and we have decent Sony surround sound headsets. And so we were both just like I was like running from the girl, and he was like over here tensing up with his arms to his chest, like, oh god, like scared for me. So
yeah, Des saw it a couple times where she like comes behind you and like chomps your head and then lifting the arm. And then I forgot where I saw it. Someone had pointed out that like, yeah, it's a recreation of that painting, Saturn eating his children or something.
Yes, the monster in the cave. Yeah.
It's like very horrifying picture. Don't look it up if you don't have this. I mean,
I'm very aware of it from early college years.
Yeah, it was man, all the kills in here are like, I didn't die too many times in my first playthrough. I definitely died more as Grace. She's definitely much more fragile than Leon. But like, there's like some compilation stuff. Like, there's a thing where one zombie can accidentally stick another zombie with a chainsaw, and then that zombie grabs you, the chainsaw goes through you, and you're fighting on the ground. It's all bad. But it's Capcom's really excellent at that.
I think one of the first times I died was to one of the shrieking, singing zombies, where they just like shrieked into my face until my brain popped or something that. It was really unnerving. But I really enjoyed Leon's little hidden finisher moves that you could just discover on a whim. You know, where he would like, you'd be shooting a zombie, and if you shoot them enough times, like he leans in with his gun and he like, you know, basically uppercut bullets into their head.
There's the like shotgun to the face with them. The camera just like zooms in on them. That one's really cool. The if you have the Requiem out, he does like some weird like John Wick spin behind them, and the camera follows.
Yeah,
they didn't have to do all that, but it was pretty fucking cool. It was
right. And then I honestly really enjoyed as like it I failed like one time, and I really did enjoy the sniper portion where you have to protect Grace and Emily from all of the zombies, because that just reminded me of Resident Evil 4 so much. And that's just like what Leon is known for, is like covert operative, like cover and like helping out his allies while they're attempting to escape.
That section is so freaking devious on Insanity, because it starts spawning enemies up with you, so you're like having to jump between covering Grace, and then there's like a blister head coming for you, and it's Insanity is ridiculous. Like, so I had gotten the platinum, so like a lot of the trophies are like speed running, don't use the injector. But for Insanity, it's like, no. You need the infinite launcher, you need infinite ammo, and it's still ridiculous at some points.
Right, exactly. Oh, I was just gonna say real quick that the only thing I've unlocked so far is the infinite unbreakable knife for Grace. That's pretty much it.
It's a lifesaver. Just give like a quick little stab to the head, and usually you can sneak past them pretty easy.
Right.
How did you play through as Grace in the care center? Like, what was your general approach to things? Were you sneaky? Were you assassinating everyone?
I was basically sneaky for like the bigger enemies, like the butcher, or like the chef, whatever he's called. And typically, I think for the most part, I tried to be as sneaky as possible, just conserving my ammo. And if I had the resources and the zombie was just in my way, like I had no other choice, I would go up behind them and use like the explodey serum.
I think it's called like the hemolytic injector.
Yeah, the hemolytic ejector. Freaking the blood collecting. It was like, oh, they're really leaning into the science of all of this, aren't they, this time?
Yes,
like,
I have this piece of metal. If I put blood on it, it turns into a bullet.
Right, exactly.
I never question it, just fuck it.
I say science loosely.
Yeah. Magic.
One thing I will say, a little disappointment wise. I mean, maybe it's not a disappointment. Maybe it's more of just like a oh, that's different kind of thing. Is that the coins didn't really come into play after the clinic.
Yeah.
They were just kind of there. And then the merchant, quote unquote, wasn't really a merchant. They just sort of, in lieu of doing a merchant this time, they adopted the play style of mercenaries, essentially. And they integrated that into Leon's like bigger Raccoon City portion.
Yeah, the coins had me a little psyched out from how it was handled in 7, where it's basically, yes, you have to find every single one if you want to get all this stuff in the in that game. It was bird cages, if I remember correctly, to get all the upgrades. Whereas here, there seems to be like a crazy like surplus where no, like if you get like 50% of these, you can get everything. Because I believe in the standard modes, there's 3 things that you can unlock. And then in Insanity, there's 1 more. And even then, there's still a surplus there. So it's very generous with it.
And I think the point was that they were not necessarily trying to get you to collect upgrades this time all throughout the game. They were trying to get you to collect recipes for those upgrades or for that high-powered ammunition or whatever. Whereas, you know, Leon still had his, like, you can upgrade your guns and all this stuff in the interface, and I liked that they added an armor slot to you, so now you have like ballistics armor essentially. It made it kind of feel like 007 a little bit.
Yeah. I think in that regard it's almost like a victim of forced success, where that merchant is like so iconic, but it also makes no sense why he's there, but we just accept it because he's cool as fuck and he says the funny lines.
Right.
I think if he was in here, it probably tonally wouldn't make sense, probably even more so compared to 4, because 4 is very goofy, and there's plenty of goofy ass shit here, but it's not in the same level, if that makes any kind of sense.
I mean, the way that they could have done it, this is just more of a creative choice, I think, is that the way that they could have done it is that they could have had a sole BSA agent survivor being like the merchant character that's sort of helping you out, but is like, whenever you're not there, is like hiding, so that way they don't track them down and like kill them just like they killed everybody else.
Yeah, that could have been a good idea. I
just thought.
I will say my biggest disappointment with Leon's gameplay is so basically in every Resident Evil game, my pistol is my go-to. Resident Evil 4, 5, 6, whatever, etc., etc. I like feeling like John Wick, and this was before John Wick existed. Where I just want to go in a room, I want to kneecap dudes, shoot them once in the face, and then lay up like a melee combo. And the pistols here, Leon's pistols feel super weak. Like, and I found even on Insanity, it's just like, you're not actually doing that much more damage shooting them in the head. Like, you're better off like just going for like body shots to save ammo, because, you know, like their heads are bobbing and weaving so erratically. Yeah. So this game was definitely more so like, nah, dude, just use a shotgun, use the rifle. Pistols are like so secondary here.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of like headshots were not working as well in previous games. That in this game it was just like almost just like a deterrent. Like if you managed to get a headshot, it was more of just to like back them off for a few seconds so you could either get away or switch a weapon or something like that.
I thought it was actually like super useful for Grace. Like maybe it was because it was first person. Like, it just felt more impactful, like, oh, sweet, I got a headshot, let me push them out of the way so I can go do what I need to go do. Versus Leon, where... Because I think there's only, like, 2 pistols for him, right? There's the one you start off with, the alligator snapper, and the second one, I think it's just called the silencer. And I don't know why you need a silencer in there. But it's technically stronger than the previous pistol, but it feels weaker because it's just going pew 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 versus bang bang bang, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I So now in the portion when you're fighting non-zombie combatants, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
That section. What weapon did you find yourself using in that moment?
Up until that point, I hadn't really found a huge use for the SMG, and that was definitely the part where I busted it out. That and the shotguns. Shotguns were super good there. They were absolutely hard though. Like if you're not like hiding behind cover, they'll like melt you. And
no, for sure.
What difficulty were you playing on?
Standard. Just the standard recommended, not the classic one, but just standard recommended.
Yeah, same. I didn't want to lose too much progress if I like died. I'm just like, I'll take the autosave. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not going to deal with ink ribbons. The ink ribbons feel like if I want the extra challenge, you know.
Yeah, but I actually really liked fighting the human enemies. They were a nice little shake up, even if they were very hard, especially on Insanity.
Exactly.
Question for you: the last guy that you fight. Do you think that was Hunk? People seem divided.
100%. No, it was Hunk. It was like they give this tactical umbrella operative that we recognize, like everybody recognizes that armor, and he has voice lines, and he's like, "Oh, I've heard of you, Leon Kennedy," and blah blah blah. Like that is 100% Hunk. And no, and then to add it on top of it, everyone is saying that, oh, if you go back, the body is gone. Like, okay, so that's Hunk. Like
the one thing that completely sold me on it, because before I was like, I don't know, maybe the body disappearing, that's just them freeing up space, video game logistic stuff, right? The thing that sold me on it is that if you mess up on the QTE, he does the head snap and the little like finger wiggle thing he does. I'm like, okay, dude, only one guy in this entire fucking universe has ever done that, and that's Hunk. So, 100% that's him. $1,000,000%.
He is such an obscure Resident Evil character that I see why people are like, oh, that's just like ridiculous. Why would they put him in there? But the question is like, why wouldn't they put him in there? Because this is all about going back to the beginning. This is Requiem. Like, we're going back to the origins of everything.
One quick bit, because I feel you moving to something. Fun fact, even on Insanity, if you hit him with a rocket launcher, because like they'll kill any boss in the game one hit, right? If you hit him with a rocket launcher, it still forces you to go through the animation of where you dig your axe into his neck. So this motherfucker is so tough. Rocket launcher does nothing to him. You need to use the axe. That's just how cool Hunk is. No way that guy's dead.
And I think it's safe to assume that any adversary you come across, human or otherwise, is injected by some sort of enhancement or virus or whatever. And so I think it's safe to assume that Hunk has been engineered as like a super soldier.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. The next thing I was going to mention is, did you find the tofu?
Yes, I was doing the scavenger quest, and at first I was confused why there was that box in the press room that you could randomly jump on. I'm just like, well, that's weird. There's nothing here. And the prompt to pick up the key next to that TV, it doesn't pop up until you get like Barry's notes. So I go back there, I get the thing, and I just hear this weird little sound effect, like a whoop. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Or a boing boing?
Yeah. And thanks to the power of the... I think I have the same ones you do. The Sony Pulse surround sound headphones. Yes. I could tell, like, ooh, that's coming from exactly fucking 7 o'clock behind me. So I look, and I just see him, like, peering out of the corner. I'm like, what? It was cool. It was really funny. For what was supposed to be, like, a very somber, like, moment for Leon's history, I'm just like, hey, they got tofu. That's cool.
I have to tell you that Ish thought he was insane for seeing that. He did not understand what that was. He didn't understand the reference of it whatsoever. He just saw something behind the pillar bounce out and wiggle, and he thought it was a mattress at first. And I go, what the fuck? What are you talking about? A mattress? And I look and I see it. I'm like, oh my fucking God. I was like, Ish, that's tofu. He's like, what? Why? I was like, and I explained it's this whole thing where you can unlock a mode where all the zombies are tofu, and it's just like, and he's like, oh my God. He's like, I literally didn't even say anything because I thought you would think I was crazy.
He's sitting there pinching himself.
I know.
I will say that I think as soon as that happened, I did the record thing on the PlayStation. Just like, I'm not tripping, right? I absolutely saw that, right? I need video evidence.
And the worst part is that it happens so quickly that if you miss it, you have to leave the room, wait a few seconds, and go back in for it to happen again.
Yeah.
So it's not on like an automatic loop thing.
Mm-hmm. And apparently it can happen in a couple different places. Like on one of my other playthroughs, I heard him pop up in the hallway, but I wasn't able to see him. He'd already disappeared before I could get the camera on him.
Okay. Because I'm wondering, because I was able to get a few shots on him, but I was wondering if there's like an award or an achievement for like finding him and like shooting him a couple times. Nothing really popped up when I like shot him. Nothing popped up. So maybe you're right. Maybe there's multiple locations you have to find him and shoot him. And
I know there's like
then
some kind of
something
like
will pop up, but
yeah, I know there's like some kind of like super obscure like final puzzle thing that I'm not going to bother with. It seems like way too much work. But I don't remember if there's a challenge for tofu. I know there's like no trophy or achievement or anything.
I'm sure if we look it up, somebody has to have discovered it. You know.
What did you think of the villain in this game, Mr. Victor Gideon?
Victor Gideon, he was kind of up there with like Jack's character from Resident Evil 7, because like he was intelligently infected and mutated. He clearly was a tyrant with how tall and strong he was, but he kept like his intelligence with working with the connections and working to release Elpis, even though nobody knew what it was, and Xeno sort of being like the operative connected with the connections and like employing Dr. Gideon. I really, at first I was like, he kind of felt a little cheesy. I'm not gonna lie.
He's a bit of a dork.
He's kind of a dork. But he grew on me. And then as I'm like going through the game, I think the reveals about like the previous tyrants coming back was really cool.
Yeah. I will say, I thought it was very funny when, I forget who finds a picture of like all the staff at that medical center, and it shows Victor, before he had like the mask and his face was all fucked up, and he's still like 7 feet tall. He looks like super evil standing next to all these people. I'm like, man, before all this, you were still like, yep, that's John Evil guy right there.
Yeah.
But,
listen, the virus doesn't change much.
Mm-hmm.
Not right away.
Yeah. But yeah, he definitely had some charm to him. He had a little bit of a sense of humor. He was caressing Leon's hair. He knew it was good.
He knew what was good. Getting some of that twink action.
Yeah. Freaking, I love the whole sequence with him in the motorcycle sequence when you're going to Raccoon City, or when you're going to the center of Raccoon City, I should say. Because like as soon as Leon was on the motorcycle, I'm just like, oh man, this is like a cool little action sequence. And then you just see this motherfucker chilling with an infinite rocket launcher. I'm like, okay, man, this is some goofy ass shit, and I'm all here for it.
That whole sequence was just goofy as fuck. Some
Fast and Furious 7, freaking driving off a skyscraper, landing on another skyscraper.
Why? Because why not? Honestly, at this point, I feel like Leon's earned the capabilities that he's had throughout the other games. Like,
yeah.
If he wants to ride up a skyscraper that's crashing down to the ground, why not?
I was thinking even logistically for him, just like, how is he steering like this with one hand while shooting all these zombie dogs with another while reloading with one hand? I'm like, dude, I can't even ride a bicycle for like 3 seconds with one hand. How are you doing this, bro?
Yeah. So those, I want to give like a little bit of a spotlight on those zombie dogs, because those zombie dogs don't show up anywhere else in the entire game except on the motorcycle sequence. Now those dogs are essentially infected with the variant of the T virus that is like the liquor mutation, right? Yeah. So I found that very interesting. Very, very fun, like one-off enemies. Makes sense that they would like be alongside you on a speeding motorcycle because they're like super fast.
I love it when games do that, when they just have like, here's this one very specific enemy or gameplay element that is just in this one tiny little area. Like they don't constantly recycle it. Just kind of makes it help it stand out even more. Yeah,
this game did do a good job of having a variety of enemies to go out to face off against. Every new area there was always like a new mini boss or a new enemy type. With obviously the smart zombies making a return throughout the entire game. Basically fighting Shelob in this was insane. Like, but here's the thing though, people did complain about the spiders not making a return in the Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 remakes.
They did.
So they did, and if you're asking me, they make a lot more sense to appear in this scenario than they would have made sense in like the Raccoon City scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I thought the whole sequence was great. Getting chased down the hallway and just like smacks you through the wall. Crashing through the building you're in down into the subway station. It was just like, yeah, Leon's back, dude. This is his segment, and Leon's back.
This game had some really great chase sequences. For sure.
What'd you think of the almost like cowboy showdown between Leon and Gideon when you're like revving up the motorcycles past each other?
Oh, dude, they were straight up jousting.
Yeah.
There was like a medieval knight jousting thing going on there. No, it was hilarious. It was just like I at that point I was just like, all right, I know what this is now. They know what this is. Like, we understand that Leon's portions are just going to be balls to the wall, outrageous and fun. And then Grace's portion is like, okay, we're back in it. We're back in the fear, you know?
Mm-hmm. I love Gideon's reaction to that. It's just like super over the top, like, as he's like falling down.
Yeah.
I think Leon has like the one-liner of shoulda worn a helmet.
Yep. Exactly.
Did you expect him to be dead at that point? Because like the narrative had like kind of already shifted to like Zeno has like the main intrigue on him now.
No, they really like shifting the focus away from supposedly dead enemies, I've noticed. No, I did not believe he was dead because that would have been too easy.
Yeah. Especially by Resident Evil standards.
The surprise of like once you're finding the files and stuff, like the surprise of Gideon actually being like the 2.0 version of Nemesis was like, oh fuck, like, which is just crazy because Nemesis is one of my favorite tyrants. Resident Evil 3 is one of my favorite games. I think that is one of the biggest disappointments that I allowed myself to get too tied up in, was just like the hope upon hope that whether it be in some small minuscule tiny way that Jill Valentine was going to be involved in this game, only to be disappointed. And I have my arguments that she should have been, but I understand they focused on the new character Grace and their golden boy Leon.
Yeah,
you know. So,
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. They don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen. You want like the focus of the narrative just be on these two characters. But you are right, just like, hey, Raccoon City is important to Jill, it is important to Chris, it is important to Claire. Like, so many people went through trauma here. It's not just Leon's show.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe Jill was like, she would have probably said, no, I'm not going back to that place. Like, I escaped for a reason. So whatever. But I just feel like, and I know a lot of people say the same thing. I'm not alone in this opinion that Jill has been immensely snubbed throughout the entirety of Resident Evil as like a main character. And
I would agree with that. I would agree more so than... I think Jill has been in more games than Claire. I might be wrong on that. But I feel like Resident Evil 5 also set her back a whole bunch because the whole mind control thing and the way that they like kind of like super sexualized her in there. I'm just like, you kind of did Jill a little dirty in 5.
Right, early 2000s / early 2010s effect.
Yeah,
were rife with racism and misogyny. So
yeah. They're gonna have to do some work on 5 if they remake it, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, I'm hearing things about a DLC that's coming out that could involve Leon and Chris potentially. People have brought to everybody's attention that in one of the last sequences of the game, Leon is putting a wedding band on. So he got married at some point, which people are shipping, obviously, him and Ada.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm curious when he had the time.
He's a busy man.
Honestly, I mean, because being a John Wick badass as he is, super agent, can't imagine he has much time for relationships. But I mean, I could be wrong. There could have been a hiatus that he went through that he finally found some peace and got hitched. But I think that potentially Claire might be the obvious answer.
I think so too. I think the boring answer would be it's probably someone that's not involved with this shit at all.
Oh yeah, like it's just a random person.
I don't think it can be Ada for realistic reasons because of she's a wanted criminal with the government.
Well, yeah, she's always like conflict of interest kind of thing.
Yeah, and would Leon be able to trust this person? It's like, I don't know. It doesn't seem pragmatic from a couple different angles.
Or a twist would be that he actually ends up marrying adult Ashley from Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'd get canceled by newer generations nowadays, but I don't think that age gap in Resident Evil 4 is huge. I don't remember how old is he in 4?
So he was, oh god,
like 25 or something.
Yeah, because it was only 6 years after Raccoon City, and he was like 22 or
so maybe he was like 27 or something.
27, 28 in Resident Evil 4. Ashley was 16, 17.
No, she was in college, right?
She's in college?
Yeah,
oh.
I always assumed that she was like 20 or something. I could be wrong.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right. No, yeah, I think she's like 19 or 20. Yeah, so I mean, that's fine.
Corey, you have to divide the age in half and add 7 or whatever the fuck the rule is.
Oh, God.
I don't know. My girlfriend's 3 years younger than me, and she calls me an old man, so I'm fucked. So I don't know.
That's fair, though. Yeah, that's accurate.
It's fair to call me old. You are correct, Corey.
Meanwhile, I'm dating a geezer that's 6 months older than me.
Damn, 6 months? Robbing the fucking grave, bro.
I know. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. You know what? With any DLC or stuff for Leon and Grace, and I say this with the utmost love, I do not want to see either of these characters be a playable character in a game ever again. Only for the sole purpose of, I want these people to have a happy life. I don't want them to have any more trauma. Like, go on a vacation, go retire. Like, I don't want you to get chased by a big scary monster anymore, Grace. You deserve everything in the world and just chill with your new adoptive daughter.
Yeah, I think after this experience, she's probably not going to want to be a field agent anymore. because her expertise is in, did you read the entire case file that was unlocked? It's basically in analytics. Like she is a field and resource analytic professional. Like she knows how to build case files. So I think like even though she was able to survive all of this, like she's good at being at the desk. Like she's good at researching, at collaborating. Like if she was ever in another Resident Evil game, she probably would be like the voice to like what Sherry was to Leon, essentially. Yeah, I think Leon needs a break. I think Leon needs to like not have to deal with much anymore as well. And I think we need to give Claire potentially another chance, Jill another chance, because they were put into games that were just either snubbed for what they were or were just god-awful bad games. Revelations 2, I'm looking at you.
I go back and forth on both Revelations. Like they're not bad, but there's certain parts of them that just kind of like really annoy me, just from like a gameplay point of view. We'll go back to the character thing in a second. Just quick little segue. I do think it was interesting that the whole plot conceit about why Gideon and Xena wanted Grace was that they thought she had something to do with blood memory transfer. I'm just like, oh shit, are they going to go into Revelations 2? Like, that was like the whole point. Alex Wesker transferring herself into the little girl at the end, and that's still not resolved. Yeah. I thought it was like a neat throwback. But just for it to turn out just like, no, you fucking idiots, that was completely unrelated to Grace. She was just a girl.
Yeah. Well, Grace was essentially immune to the viruses because she had Elpis already inside her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe it was either that or I saw someone say like, oh yes, when Victor brought her to the care center, he injected her because she got bit in the hotel.
But he never knew, he didn't have access to Elpis or even knew what Elpis was at that point. So that wouldn't make sense.
Wouldn't hold up. You're right.
Yeah.
And it's also Resident Evil logic where Leon probably took 1 million chomps. I mean, it's also like, does in-game chomp count, or are these people just resistant, or it's one of those things that just doesn't like really directly address too much.
Right. The only time we actually ever were addressed face first with the ramifications of the damage that you're taking in these games was with Ethan.
Getting his hand fucking chopped off or sawed off.
Yeah, because it directly affected, like it directly was part of the narrative that he was already dead.
Yeah.
So I think with the future of Resident Evil, I think it's still very bright. I think that they definitely have Resident Evil Code Veronica in the works.
Yep. That game
potentially coming out next year.
That and Zero, I think, could really benefit from a remake, because Zero kind of annoys me a bit with the whole inventory management, and then there's just some like intentional dickhead design in Code Veronica, where I think they could iron it out a bit, because there's some cool stuff in there. It's a good game. It
definitely could be a cooperative experience, or if they want to do like a split scenario kind of thing, like they did with Requiem, that could also work.
I hadn't even thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah. So it looks great. And then going even more further, like probably 2028, 2029, or even 2030, I would say I'm hoping that Resident Evil 10 actually like directly deals with the connections in some way. I feel like we are.
It's been building up to it.
It's been building up to it, and not to be one of those fans, but I feel like we are owed like some answers about the connections at this point, you know?
Well, the thing that I was hoping to hear here, but we'll probably get in 10, is that, do you remember the kind of like the little cliffhanger thing from Village, where Chris like unmasks some of the BSAA people that aren't part of his squad, and they're like infected soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of just like left that out. I'm just like, okay, well, can we get to the bottom of that, please? Like, can I have some more Chris Redfield DLC?
So those were advanced T-virus zombies that we saw in this.
Okay.
Those were already in the works, so the BSAA is infiltrated by the connections, things like that. Like they already had access. So I think that was a little hint at what's to come for Requiem, or what was to come for Requiem. And I'm sure if we look at like other like final scenes, we might be able to get some hints of like what's to come for Resident Evil X.
Would you be down for a remake of the remake of Resident Evil?
I have heard this floating around, and honestly, yes, because at the time when the remake came out for GameCube, it was revolutionary and it was beautiful and well done and stayed true to the source material and even made the source material better. However, if their plan is to bring the entirety of the mainline titles into the modern day of the RE engine, then they would need to go back and remake the original game. I think they can do it. I think it's totally possible. It just, they would need to really take their time and take very good care, considering it is the origin of everything.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'd absolutely be down for it. I think Capcom has been killing it since 2017 with Resident Evil 7. I mean, even outside Resident Evil, I'm not super big into Monster Hunter or Street Fighter, but they've just been on complete fire, constantly putting out games, high quality, making them for much lower budgets than what we do in the West. And, I mean, even if, I know they stumbled probably a little bit with 3 Remake, I still defend it as it is a good game, not a good remake. It is.
Right.
It is, fuck, why can't I think of the name? Not Zack. What's the Batman, Zack Snyder's, it is the Zack Snyder's, Dawn of the Dead versus the original. Exactly. It is completely different tonally, doesn't really have much, aside from, yes, the Nemesis guy exists. It did give us Carlos, though. I do prefer new Carlos.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. But they've just been so consistently great. The original, well, I say the original, the remake and the original are both accessible. So yeah. I see no harm. I would easily pay $60-$70 for a remake.
There's also huge fans of the original Resident Evil 3 out there that have created entire mods that add the missing parts or portions of the game to the remake. And it's something I think that is actively being worked on, where it's like it's a mod that just expands the game and essentially turns it into what it would have been had they included all of the other locations and enemies that were included in the original game.
Yeah, the map in the original was huge, and then the way Nemesis could chase you like dynamically through it, like it wasn't scripted events, was really cool in the original.
Oh yeah, it was ahead of its time for sure.
You know, we didn't touch too much on. I know we're going a little long here. We didn't touch too much on Xeno. What did you think as soon as that shutter opened and you're like, is that fucking Wesker? Why is he in a suit?
I thought it was Wesker. And I told my fiance that we in Resident Evil, we live in a world where cloning exists, and so if Wesker is back, then this makes a lot of sense. But when Gideon was like, you're just a knockoff, essentially, I was like laughing because 1, good job Capcom for being self-aware.
Yep.
And 2, that kind of clued us in, I think, as the players, that Xeno was a clone of Wesker that the connections were attempting to utilize to their own benefit, because Wesker originally was employed by the connections as well. And so, well, or was it the connections, or was it Tricell?
So from what I remember, because I know they go into it more in 5, where there were the Wesker children, which I don't believe were clones. They were just all individual, because you see Alex Wesker in Revelations 2, and she's a woman. But so it seems like, yeah, Xeno is a direct clone of Wesker. How they did it, like, was it willing? Like, yes, he wanted a backup plan, or did they just happen to get a sample from whatever things? I mean, his son's still out in the wild. Maybe they got it from him. But
right, exactly.
When they first showed him, I did do a double take, just like, oh fuck, did he really survive the fucking volcano RPG to the face? But as soon as I saw like the like kind of like his outfit, he had like an earring on one side. I'm just like, I don't know. Wesker doesn't strike me as that kind of dude. I kind of immediately jumped to the it's a clone idea.
Yeah.
And I did love when you're in the RPD where Leon goes to shoot him. He does like the exact animations for when you try to shoot him in 5. He does like the Matrix dodges.
Yeah.
And then he says something similar to in 5, where you have to, like, in the first boss fight with him and Jill, he says, I only have 7 minutes to spare, and you have to actually survive 7 minutes. And here he was just like, I have no time to fucking spare on you, dude.
Yeah.
Just nice little throwbacks.
And that's the thing, is like, Leon has never had to fight like a essentially normal looking, super advanced, like, human with Wesker powers. Like, he never was one of those people. I don't think. Did he fight somebody like that in 6?
I mean, there was Krauser, even before he got like his big old tentacle arm thingy. But
I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not to the same extent for like Matrix power status, but yeah.
Matrix, but yeah, like, Jesus.
But I love that he was here. And you know what? At first, I was kind of disappointed that they're not keeping the voice actor that did Wesker in 5, because he's so fucking iconic with his delivery.
He is. He's very good.
He's really good. And we got a little sneak peek of Wesker and you know, the new voice actor in 4, and I'm sorry, the remake of 4 and the DLC, where he's talking about complete local saturation.
Yeah.
But I really liked his voice performance here. I'm just like, oh man, if he's this good as fucking Timu Wesker, as Xeno, then once they eventually do the Code Veronica, or they go back to 1, and be like, oh man, I'm gonna love this. This guy's killing it also. Just like super intimidating.
Exactly.
Maybe not as cheesy, but he's definitely got like the authentic intimidation.
Yeah. So then do you think that what they'll do essentially, they're going backwards. So they're going to do Code Veronica, because I feel like that's the most sought after title of a remake, and then they're going to release Resident Evil 0 remake, and then it's going to lead into like essentially the grand piece de resistance, which is like the remake of the OG Resident Evil, you know, and then that will essentially complete the remake saga if they don't want to do RE5 and RE6.
For me, all the reports are saying like, yes, Code Veronica is the next one that's up. That's what everything's pointing to. For me, I think ideally, to convey the Albert Wesker saga, I think you would have to do 1 first, go back to 0, because you don't run into him in 0, but it shows a whole bunch of scenes with him and Birkin kind of fucking over. James Marcus, I believe, is the villain in 0. And then you would have to jump to Code Veronica, and then you would jump to 5. That's kind of like the natural progression of his character. So if you go to Code Veronica and he pops up just like, hey, Chris, I'm still alive, I feel like people who've only really played the modern games, he'd be like, why does this guy look like Xeno?
Oh yeah, you're right. So they would need to release Resident Evil 1 first.
Yeah. So they can almost like sell it on, here's just this STARS captain guy. What? He's betraying people?
Mm-hmm. True.
I don't think it's like a huge deal, especially for people like you and me who've been playing this for literally decades at this point.
Well, and
But
also the OG games are extremely accessible now, like you said, and like people can go back and play them if they want. But yeah, otherwise, I think overall Resident Evil Requiem was clearly the numbers don't lie. It was a smash hit. The biggest selling title of Resident Evil all time. And I mean, I will say this much. I feel like, negative wise, I feel like it did suffer a little bit from having several locations and the fact that we were constantly like moving forward. Because in past Resident Evils, we've seen where it's like locked down to one massive location. So I think, but that's about it. I mean, everything else was just sort of like, you know, obviously the typical Resident Evil over the topness of it all. But some of the puzzles did suffer, I think, because of the changing locations and things like that. They didn't get a chance to focus too hard on one location before moving on to the next one.
yeah, I think I'm pretty much in the same vein. I think it would have been really cool if it was kind of like or even like vertically stacked, like the location. Like you start off in the care center, and then you descend into a different area, maybe like right next to it, and then the lab. I think would have been cool, but I guess it would have been hard to do because I really wanted to go to Raccoon City. But overall, I loved the game. Easy 5 out of 5. You know, A+ for me. Just tiny little things here or there I'm kind of like on, but nothing that's like a huge detractor. I don't know exactly where I would rank it with the new ones. I think 4 and 4 Remake are still my favorite in the entire series. Fuck, this one's really high up there. I definitely like it more than 8, even though I really like 8. 7 is like so terrifying, though.
Yeah, aesthetically speaking, I enjoyed Village way more. I love the Eastern European, like Transylvania, like monster feel of it all. You know, I really enjoyed that. Because it really felt like Resident Evil 4 2.0 in a weird way. But yeah, I think Resident Evil 4, Village are up there for me. Resident Evil 7 definitely was just the pinnacle of bringing Resident Evil back. I think that's fair to say, because it's like, it's true. Like you said, it's truly terrifying. And it's just, yeah, it was in the wake of all of those, you know, PT and like first person, like walking horror simulators, and then like all of the different horror references that it was making throughout the game and everything like that. Like they really reinvented Resident Evil. And then and Capcom always does this, I think. Now we see the rhythm in which they make these games is that they make the games as horrifying as possible, as scary as possible. They reinvent themselves, and then the next game becomes a little bit more wacky or a little bit more action-y. They try something new, and then the next game is a little bit more action, a little bit more wackiness, a little bit more off the handle, while still trying to keep some of those similar, like, horrifying themes. So this one definitely, Requiem, I think the reason it's so successful and the reason it's sold so many copies is because, one, people have had a shit ton of time to catch up on the series. And so they have. People have formed entire Twitch channels or entire YouTube channels on, I've never played Resident Evil, so watch me go through the entire series for the first time. That's a great thing to do. Like, that's a great niche. And 2, because the elements of this game are so widely popular, like the thematically speaking, and like the action to horror ratio is so easily consumable, that I think a lot of people can really get into it. And the reason I say this is because the headline saying like, oh, Requiem is like the scariest Resident Evil game ever made. I was like, I don't think that's true, but some people who aren't used to Resident Evil probably would say that.
I think Requiem basically takes the best parts of 7 and 4, where I don't think Requiem's the best action game. I think that's still 4 for sure. And I think 7's still the scariest, but this is like such like a beautiful it is a juxtaposition within the game. You do have the horror parts, you do have the action parts, but it just works so well. It's kind of like the definitive statement of Capcom saying like, yeah, I can do fucking both of these still. The next game could be either of these, or it could be a combination. And I'd be down for it either way, whether it's that combination or one or the other. They know how to nail it for sure.
Yeah, they really are trying to prove that they can have their cake and eat it too, essentially. And I just really enjoy what Capcom does with the series, and I'm looking forward to more. And all the little dancing raccoon guys that I was trying to hunt. I think I missed like 3 or 4 of them. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think I missed 3, and I was looking up a guide when I was doing the trophy hunting stuff. And to my credit, the ones I missed were very obscure. I was just like, okay, yeah, I would not have found them because, with the surround sound headphones, I'd be clued in like, yep, yeah. I know exactly where that fucking thing is.
You know what the hardest one was for me to find? I mean, with the fact that I didn't find all of them, was the freaking bookcase in the RPD.
That one was driving me crazy, but I did find it after like 5 minutes. It was driving me
insane. I was like, of course. I was like, of course, it's right there.
For the longest time, I thought it was like inside, so I was like going up to the second floor, like looking to see if I could get like the right angle. It was it drove me crazy. Mm-hmm. And then some of the more obscure ones. There's one when you're supposed to be protecting Grace. You have to like look through the sniper like at a specific light, and then there's one on the skyscraper in Raccoon City. We have to like look at like near a bus on the highway that's nowhere near you. So they're very clever with it.
Yeah, that's very clever. You know what? I actually did want to touch on one final part of the game that I don't think we talked about. And this is a topic that some people I saw brought up, is that in every single Resident Evil game, there is a section that just sort of bogs the game down with its pacing. And some people are saying that that section is the orphanage flashback.
I could see that on repeat playthroughs. Mm-hmm. Because I did 4 playthroughs, and like, so I kind of already have like the time optimized down on it. I just don't think there's like really like a good way around it. Just like, yeah, repeat playthroughs, this can slog because you know what you're doing. It's not that long in the grand scheme of things, though. Mm-hmm. Like, I know, like, I've probably heard some people say, like, oh yeah, Leon's the first part of his Raccoon City goes on a bit long. I'm just like, no, I enjoyed the sandbox and being able to just go ham on these zombies.
Yeah. I also the flashback in the gun store was gut wrenching.
Yeah, I love that you saw him in 2 and 3 remake.
Yeah, basically.
That's definitely
you mean Kendo?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good crossover there.
Definitely like a center moment of Leon's survivor guilt for sure, though.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, I think that's it. Pretty much. Had a great time. I'm excited to play it again and just, find all the little hidden nuggets that I didn't get to experience before in insanity mode and unlock some unlimited weapons, and then hopefully the DLC comes out sooner rather than later. Yeah.
I guess closing thoughts. Loved it. Super high up there. No like definitive ranking or anything like that.
Yeah.
Can't wait for whatever's next. And, thanks for hanging out with me, Corey, for doing this little one-off game session reunion.
Yeah. Dude, I was super stoked when you messaged me about doing this. It was super fun back then, and it's super fun now. So, it's been great getting to walk through the eras of Resident Evil with you, where little twink Leon became Twunk Super Cop turned Twunk Super Agent, as it were.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do this when the next one comes out in a year or two or something like that.
Or no, sorry, he's not a Twunk Super Agent. He's a Silver Daddy Super Agent.
Yeah, he's in his Silver Fox era right now.
Silver Fox era, yeah. But yeah, we'll I think we'll continue this as more Resident Evil games come out. I think we'll do these little one-offs. That'd be fun.
But yeah, good catch up with you, man. Do you want to advertise any of your stuff?
I am on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, and oh my gosh, sorry. It's Instagram is the Corey Parsley, and YouTube and TikTok are King Corey Bear. Everywhere else is pretty much King Corey Bear as well. I also have a book out called Skip. It is the story about two teen boys falling in love and teleporting around the world. It's a YA urban fantasy novel that I think you should read because it's super gay and super fun, and I think you'll like it. So yeah.
Awesome. And I'll make sure to message you to get all the links. I'll make sure to post them in the description below.
For sure.
And then if you're already watching this video, this is basically the only place I'm active on the internet.
Yes.
You can always
is an enigma.
Yeah, you can always just Google my username. It is a unique username. You'll find everything I've basically ever done on the internet just by typing it in. And with that, I think we're good to go. Thanks again for hanging out, Corey.
Yeah, thanks so much. See you guys later. Bye.
Oh, do you want to do your Resident Evil?
Okay, hold on. Resident Evil.
Okay, see, that was good. All right, bye, people.
Bye.